Hello YouTube, this is Killer Frog and welcome back on the channel. I hope that every one of you is doing great. I am, and we are in for another let's play at Silica as the aliens. Today the video will be quite different as what I do usually. This is my first voiceover, so hopefully both my English, which is my second language, will be clearer, and also the gameplay will be probably more packed in action, and hopefully you will like the format. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think about it. And well, the objective is to get better. So without any ado, let's start this right now. Welcome on the battlefield. The first thing that we need to do as the aliens is to build up the biocache, which is what I'm doing right now at that little place right there. Close to the little green thing that they are called biotics. This is basically the aliens' resources that they will use to build infrastructures and units. So you can see the little shrimps that are slowly walking towards the south to collect it. And well, the biocache is just a kind of a choke point where they can deposit the resources. So the next thing we'll do when we will expand is to try to bring some biocache closer to the next resources point. By the time that these things are building up, I'm kind of separating the units in smaller groups, which will make it much easier for me to scout. And a bit further, I will break down these little groups to individuals to really kind of scout a bit quicker the map. As all of this is happening, as the aliens you really need to node. So noding is a big part of the management of the base. This is the way that you will expand, move forwards towards the enemy base and forwards towards the next resource points, basically. Since I haven't found one, I'm just expanding towards the middle of the map, which is basically moving forwards towards our enemies at that point. So this is basically what I'm doing. And as this is happening, you need to keep, always scouting and pushing forward. The next thing that I kind of forgot to build, you'll see it in just a little moment, is to build the quantum cortex, which is basically the research point. And that will give us the ability to research new units and infrastructures as the level are going up in that research facility, basically. Then, as usual, we need to keep nodding as the aliens, so this is what we'll do. But there's a little something else that we need to do. And that little something else is the infrastructure that will give us the ability to spawn a few units, which is the lesser spawning cysts. You can see that I'm struggling a little bit placing in the buildings, and I'm watching it because I want to put it on the edge like so, in the way that if enemies are coming from the other side, they won't really be able to spot it. Through that little infrastructure, we'll be able to spawn smaller units like the shrimps to collect resources. I usually build them next to the biocache, and some units like the impalers or the crabs, lighter units to really swarm the early enemies. Then I found that very nice spot in the desert, and that was pretty hidden from the enemies from the direction they were coming through. Well, considering that they are probably up north. So I kind of decided that I will place my next nest and military infrastructures in that area to spawn armies. Then we can see down south that we are about to finally place the next biocache to have access to the next resource point. So there it is, we're pretty close. So yeah, I keep nodding and really want to reach those areas. So this is pretty much what is going on in the early game. Need to really work on that economy. Now we can hear that little combat music that just started. This is because, as you can see, there's a scout, so we kind of came across our first enemy. At first I thought that we could engage it, but it really wasn't worth it, so I just sent back the units to continue scouting instead. Seems like a better idea. Now, considering that we have a whole bunch of money and an unoccupied lesser spawning cyst, I decided to spawn a few impalers just to keep building a little defenses. Now the few crabs that we could build so far, I sent them up north to the next base, if I could say so, where we want to expand to kind of protect it and secure that area, just to make sure that it's safe. And we keep nodding as per usual, basically. We're pretty close to another resource point, which is great. And we also have the money now for our greater spawning cyst, so that we can spawn some hunters, and eventually the Goliaths. There's plenty of good units, the Behemoth and the Scorpions. They're actually very, very good. And finally we can build that little biocache to the next place. Then, as I did the first time, I will build a lesser spawning cyst so that we can spam a few shrimps to get the resources for us. Good old shrimps. And over here we have the poor fella that is kind of running for its life between two riflemen. So I'm trying to see the angle if there's a way to keep it safe. And, well, it will survive. It's just in the right space between those units. And we will crawl ourselves outside of this fight. Now back to the base, we can see that we depleted our first resource node, and now we can finally exploit the next one with our nice and healthy shrimps. We finally finished, or about to finish actually, the next spawning thing to actually be able to pump out some shrimps out of it. It will be perfect and our economy will be even stronger. And it's already not that bad. It's not that bad, our economy at this point. We are able to spawn a few units and to maintain some good resources, which is pretty decent. In the minimap, you can see we kind of spot a little building over there that is to the enemies. I'm not too sure the reason why they suddenly pop like that sometimes. If you know, you can let me know. It will be a good addition to my knowledge. And otherwise, we are getting shot at up north. So as we are distracting them a little tiny bit, it's time to mess up the first, well, squishy army actually. So we are starting to move our enemies, and as per usual in every RTS game, when you are moving enemies out of your base, you need to be sure that you have that you will have a few units back home when you will be back. So this is why it's important to fill up the queue. And the little crabby will just continue to walk its way. Or actually, did I mid join? I'm not really sure. But it will do its own thing. Little crabs are about everywhere on the map. We can see those little spots on the left part of the map. They're just chilling and scouting a little bit. And that poor fella, the hunter, we kind of forget it for a little while, so he got a little bit up by the buggy over there. The little crowd, but it's all good, it's all fine. And now we can finally build up some shrimps at our new expansion, which is a pretty decent, good step for our economy. Now we have a few more impalers, so we'll move them to actually secure that area. I tend to do some little swarm like so. They are good scouting and defensive groups. They can't really fight on their own, but they can hold long enough to bring reinforcements, so this is perfect. Right after, I spawned a few defenses. So I make sure that they are on the top, so they will be able to actually fire at the enemies. And this is a nice area because you can see the tip of the dunes like in a bit further. So when they will pass the dune, they will be in range if they ever have the idea to come across the dune. Which will kind of a ambush-ish thing to do. And I pretty like that idea. Also, now that our little army, or what is looking like a small army, is getting ready, I'll slowly put them into position, and I wasn't really sure where to place them. At first I didn't want to go in front of the defenses, then I thought, well, maybe behind is better, but, well, at the end they will just start moving slowly towards the enemy base. And it's time to improve also our technologies, because we have a whole bunch of money, so let's get good use of that. Obviously I could play more aggressive and have a few more spawning things to really swarm them with lighter units, but I kind of like having a comfortable economy, if I can say so. Now that we are moving slowly up north, what we'll do is that we'll just keep nutting, as we've been doing all that game. This is how we do. So yes, I'm slowly expanding here and there, looking where I could place them. I wish there will be maybe a zone that could be around the base so that we can see where we can build when we want to place nodes and stuff like that. Same with the humans when we want to place buildings, so that it will be a bit easier for us to find where we can actually place them. And as you can see, sometimes the menu just disappears. Well, it's still in early access, so it's normal to see some bugs, but yeah, the menu to place nodes and buildings sometimes bugs like so. And sometimes it's doing like 2 times in a row. which can be a little bit irritating, but overall the game is still very enjoyable. And as you can see, every time we want to place nodes, we have to go back to the nest. So what I'll do at some point is that I'll do another nest, well, close to the main infrastructure that I was talking about, so it will be closer for us to actually select nodes and expand. And yeah, every area that you actually want to develop a bit more, it's a good thing to place a nest. It's a bit for, I think it's 4K. It's pretty expensive, but it's pretty useful. And over here what we can see is a bunker. As the humans, you can go there, control them, and it will give you some nice defenses in that area as a nice scouting, because the bunker will remain active once it's activated. And then we can see we have a little buggy, feeling lucky, I guess, so they try to actually attack as the swarm is coming through. Well, little spoiler alert, it won't end well for it. We can see that it's getting crawled over. A bit like this, and there's even a smug crabs that will just run overhead. The disrespect, really. We are now back into the expanding time, so we can place a nice geocache hidden behind that little rocks. And since we are the aliens, we can just walk above the rocks, so we can climb it. No problem for our little shrimps. So we'll just place infrastructure behind that little rocky thing, and we'll just spawn a few shrimps in a moment when we'll be able to. And yes, we can see that we're struggling a little bit. And maybe I just gave up. Well, apparently I just gave up. Instead we'll just build something else there. And it's finally the time for the big old nest. Yeah, at first I wanted to build the greater spawning thing maybe a bit further, so it will be closer for the Goliaths to walk. But no, it's fine. I just like to have my infrastructure concentrated, so it's a bit easier to manage. You can just go in one area and queue up all your units, and then you just grab them and move them around, and you're not scared to grab some shrimps in the process because there's no nodes nearby. Overall, it's easier to manage well, in my opinion, when I play like so. So our little army is maintaining their position up north. It's actually just to maintain them, as we can develop and mass up units, slowly but surely. And finally we have a few hunters and scorpion. They will be ready soon enough to join the army. Well, the hunters are quick, but the scorpions are quite slow, so it will take a little while. And now there's just a little hunter that took a quad as a breakfast today. It's all good. Now what we can assist at is the little reinforcements that are preparing themselves to join the first expedition, the scouting expedition if we can call it so. But we're just messing up at this point. We're just waiting because we want to have that Goliath to spawn up. It's about 3/4 produced. And now we finally have it, and we'll start walking slowly towards the base. And now that we have pretty much a complete army, soon enough we'll switch this into the combat mode. So we'll go into the FPS soon enough, right there actually. So now we spawn as a nice old little crabby crab right there. The sun was pretty bright, and the nice thing with the crabs is that they are very quick, very quick. And the other thing that you can see soon enough is that, well, they can almost fly, so they can really jump off easily. And in comparison with the humans can teleport on the map as the aliens can't, but they are using kind of mind control, if I can say so. So if you have a line of sight on your fellow aliens, you can just press E to jump on it and control it. A bit like so. So now you can control the Goliath, roll out, and you can see a little bit the attack. I'm not really sure if what is the point of rolling out. I'm not sure if it's really the speed or maybe a defensive skills. I'm not sure if it's blocking like attacks and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. But you can attack a bit like this. You can see a bit the animation. And if you do know like if this is blocking ammunition or if this is supposed to roll enemies, please let me know because I'm still unsure today. So we'll go back as the Impaler. They're a bit quicker than the Goliath, of course. And we'll jump out to the Scorpion to see what it's looking like. That little crawler, it's not too slow, but it's not too fast either. It can jump a little tiny bit, But overall it's a bit slow, but the attack is really it's really getting in, as you can kind of hear. I love the sound effect. Sound effects are pretty good overall in the game, so is the visual ones. As we can see over there, we have a few enemies getting the attention of our Goliath, so I kind of wanted to see what was happening there. So we teleport here, and lucky us, we found an impaler, so we can move a bit quicker, and usually they can fight infantry quite well. And I'm looking again to be sure where they are, and well, we're about to find them. So the ability to climb is pretty good for the bugs, as they are called in the community. They're quite well. They are good ambusher. They're a bit tough to get into the range of the humans sometimes, but once you're in, you're pretty good. And unfortunately for us, my aim is terrible, and it's just a scout, so technically it should be an easy fight. And finally I managed to impale it, so there we can see I have a little bit of that gameplay with the impaler. We can see like the triangle that is like at the bottom of the reticle is our life, so I almost died like so. And a bit later, right after that, I went to command a little bit to keep managing the economy, and then I came back as the hunter, which is pretty much the quickest alien that there is in the game, in my opinion. And we managed to find a nice scorpion so that we can have some nice gameplay. And it's getting, the sun is setting also, because if you didn't know, well, there's a cycle about the day and the night in that game, and it is pretty good because the effects on the night are absolutely gorgeous. You can see the moon, and well, it's kind of Star Wars-ish when you look at it. You can see a beam of multiple colors going out from here and there. So we're just crawling and go for the harvester to really try to hurt their economy first. If you can kill the economy, it's always a good thing. So we try to climb, but even the best of the bugs can sometimes fall off, a bit like so. So it was kind of rude, recalcitrant a little bit to climb, but I decided to try again. And lucky enough, we managed to go on top. I saw that in a testing server that they will add some machine gun on the top of the harvester. I think this is a good idea because it's a bit too easy for the bugs to just climb on it, even as a little crab, and hide close by in close to the door of the platform and just slowly wreck the harvester. So I think it will be a good addition. So for now we're just bashing it and shooting at it. Scorpion are actually good against vehicles, so it's pretty efficient. We can see that we're getting attacked by multiple ways. And there's a Goliath right there that will help us crush a few units. And there it is, the poor little Humvee is getting smashed right up. So there we go, just attacking them as the headquarters are firing down at us. It's pretty great to see those towers. And we finally managed to kill that little wreckator, if I can call it so. The AV infantry, they're quite good actually. Well, they're easy to play also if you are playing in the FPS. It's probably the easiest class. They are pretty much on auto aim. You just need to aim AV units and the missiles will guide themselves towards the units. Not 100% it, but it's pretty decent. And of course this game was against the AI, so well, the AI isn't the best. I guess in time they will release some or update it to have some difficulties. Because for now, well, it's quite easy, but it's mostly just to show up the game so far. At some point I will probably do some multiplayer, commander against commander, and see how it goes. And this is, as you can see, the yellowish screen or filter. It's the night vision for the bugs. It's better than the one for the humans in my opinion, but well, you can let me know if you prefer the humans one. The humans one is more reddish. If you've seen the other video, I've seen it in I've showed it in that video too. And now we have a Goliath that is doing a King Kong style on the headquarter, just ramming it down. And you can see the damage really at the bottom right corner. It's going down so fast, and that's the headquarter. So if you have like 1 or 2 of those Goliaths into your base, it's gonna be devastating. And now that it's destroyed, we will just crawl ourselves outside of it and roll down to the next building. And we will smash it and do exactly the same. So yeah, a few of those in your base and you're pretty, it's pretty GG. And now we are King Konging here at Refinery. And then after we went for the EV vehicles, interesting thing, you can see the red lasers inside, so you can see the building getting, the units getting built. And they got a tank out just in time, but, well, our life is, our health is a bit too high, and in the spawn right that, it gets smashed right away. No chance for it to run away from the Goliath. So basically at this point we're just seeing every building getting smashed up. And it was a GG. So hopefully you guys liked that, well, if I can say that new format, since it's my first voiceover. Let me know what you think, if you liked it. If you enjoyed that content, let me know, and you can like and subscribe. That's also a very good way to let me know that you enjoy it. It was a pleasure to play it. I wish you a good day, and I hope to see you in the next one.